Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Curtis, and today I'm going to do a review for Zatima Season 4, Episode 9. So the episode starts off with Lori attempting to run up on Belinda. Nathan does grab her, and then Zach is able to get in between them. And then Zach is like, listen, I need you to remember everything that you learned in anger management. And she's like, man, forget anger management. Like, I should have brought my bat. I knew I should have brought that damn bat. And Belinda's like, bat? Girl, bye. Like, I'm not even understanding why you are upset with me. Like, I'm coming to see you on some woman to woman shit. Like, I'm telling you what he has not told you. Like, why are you upset with me? Lori looks over at Belinda like, woman to woman, girl, you are a skank. Belinda's like a skank. First of all, I respect people's marriages. And everybody just busted out laughing because, listen, Belinda, in this particular situation, both you and Nathan show that you do not respect people's marriages. So stop that. Belinda decides to redirect her attention over to Nathan. And she's like, you know what, Nathan, if you tell me that you want to work things out with Lori, I will back off. It won't be no problem at all. But you know you're going to miss fucking me, right? And then Laura's like, what did she say? She's like, yeah, you know you're going to miss fucking me, right? And I was just like, Belinda, 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 what are you doing? I also used to seeing Belinda being like kind of strong, being a little independent, being the one that's in control of the situation. So to see her in this space, it's throwing me off a little bit. And so Laura, she does attempt to get to her again. And then this is when Tony tries to step in, but then she grabs like Tony's arm or wrist and like twists, and he's like, ah, and he falls to the ground. I was just like, I was like, Belinda, you see how she just did that grown ass man? You need to calm down. Lori looks over at Nathan. She's like, I cannot believe you have your hoe here. And Belinda's like, hoe? Who you calling a hoe? You a hoe. And this was the part of the conversation where I was just like, okay, we need some type of resolution because you calling her a hoe, you calling her a bitch, you calling her a skank. It was cool at first, but after a while, we need some type of resolve. Like, I'm not really a fan of like the whole back and forth. We just calling each other names. We need some type of resolution. And so Nathan does eventually chime in. He's like, you know what? I was messing with Belinda, but the reason why I was messing with Belinda was because our marriage is falling apart. We are not in a good space. And in fact, I actually want a divorce. And everybody's like, oh shit, he wants a divorce. And then it's like, and when it comes to you, Belinda, we can't see each other anymore. And then he says, you know what? In this particular situation, I only dealt with you because I needed a place to stay. And I was just like, damn, that's fucked up. He was like, I only fucked around with you because I did not have anywhere else to go. I needed a place to stay. You allowed me to come over, so that's why I was there. But that's all it was. I just needed a place to stay. He turns back to Laura and says, you know what? I need to work on myself. Maybe I need to go to therapy. I need to do something. But right now, I feel like I just need to be single. I do not need to be in a relationship. I don't need to be in a situationship. I just need to be by myself. And Laura, she just storms out. After Lori storms out, Zach receives a call from Connie, and she tells him that Jeremiah almost died. And Zach, he was a little emotional at first, but he was able to get himself together. And he's just like, I'm not really sure why you even telling me this information. Like, he's not my family anymore. And Connie, she attempts to bring up their mother. He's like, listen, don't bring her up. In fact, he says that he feels like Jeremiah is partially responsible for his mom not being there anymore. And she's like, don't do that. He was like, I mean, is it not true? And so she's like, you know what? I get it. You do not want to talk about Jeremiah, but I just want to say this really quickly. There's something that I need to talk to you about, and I feel like I need to talk to you and Fatima. And he's like, you want to talk to me and Fatima about what? Like, what's going on? Is everything okay? And she's like, you know what? I will let you know once we meet, but I really need to meet with you too so I can talk about what's going on in my life. And Zach was like, okay, cool, fine. All right, y'all. So let's talk about Angela for a second. So Angela, she got that weight loss injection that she was talking about in the previous episode. And while she's getting ready to take it, Sean actually comes by. So of course she kind of puts it away. And so when Sean comes by, she attempts to have sex with him, but he's like, that's not what I'm here for. She's like, what do you talk about? That's not what you're here for. He was like, I'm actually here to take you on a date. And she's like, I mean, that's cool and all, but we can't have sex. And he was like, no, like, I actually want to date you. I want to get to know you. I want this to be an actual relationship. Like, I don't want it to just be us fucking all the time. And she was like, wait, so you really want to be with me? So you want to go out with me because of me, nothing else? He was like, yeah, I just want to be with you. Like, I don't understand why you're making it such a big deal. Like, I'm not using you. I don't have any ill intentions. I just want to go on a date with you. Is that so bad? I do want to know really quickly. So Angela does eventually end up going outside with Sean, but apparently she forgot something, so she went back inside of her place. And when she went back inside of her place, she decided to put the injection into her thigh, and then she walked out. And I was just like, oh, this is not going to be good. After this, we see Jeremiah. He is still in the hospital. The nurse comes in and she's like, hey, I have some good news for you. You are going to be discharged. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't really feel like I'm in a good space. And she's like, well, your blood levels are really good. And then also you do not have any insurance. And so unfortunately, we cannot keep you in this hospital room because we need other people to get in here, that are sick or going through things. And he's like, I don't really feel like I'm in a good space. And she was like, well, that's okay because we actually have a case manager that could work with you. He's like, I'm not really trying to do that. And she was like, and then also, you can always go to rehab. And he's like, well, when it comes to rehab, that doesn't really help me. I don't really feel like it's for me. I feel like I just need to be in this hospital where I could be safe, where I could be free of drugs. Like, I really do not want to leave. But she's like, listen, sir, you have to go. And then next thing you know, he kind of like sits up, he gets aggressive, he ends up pushing something over. So she's like, oh shit. So she actually she goes to the phone, she calls security, and then he grabs her arm. And I was like, oh shoot, what's getting ready to happen? She was like, you need to let me go. And he's like, I cannot leave. And she's like, sir, you need to let me go. And so he's getting ready to go on like this little rant, but then security rushes in and he's like, listen, I cannot leave. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. Security's like, listen, come with me, sir. Come with me. And so he attempts to attack the security. The security is able to kind of like duck a little bit, grab him, hem him up, and able to, escort him out. And I was just like, Jeremiah, brother, you got to get it together, man. All right, y'all. So let's go back to Sean and Angela. So they do arrive at a restaurant because remember, Sean said that he wanted to take her on a date. And when they get there, Angela, she starts doing the absolute most. She starts complaining, like, you said that this was supposed to be exclusive. I've been here before. Like, why the fuck would you bring me here? And Shauna's like, can you please just go inside? She's like, no, like you said it was exclusive. So she starts making up all of these excuses to not try to go inside. I'm like, Angela, what are you doing? Like, what is happening here? And so Shauna's like, listen, I have a surprise for you. Just please come inside so I can show you. So it does take her some time, but she does eventually say, you know what? Fine. Let's just go inside. Once they get inside, Angela sees that it's empty. So it's just going to be them eating. And so she's like, okay, this is kind of cool. And so they do sit down, and then the waitress comes by. And the waitress makes the mistake of calling Sean by his name. So she doesn't say sir, she says his name. And Angela's just like, and Sean notices that her facial expression has changed. So he's like, what's going on? She's like, nothing. He's like, something is going on. And she's like, well, you tell me. And so it does become clear that she believes that Sean and the waitress, either they are fucking or they fucked in the past. And he's like, why do you create these scenarios in your head? She was like, what? He was like, you create scenarios in your head to put yourself in a bad space. Like, why are you doing that? Like, why would you even think that I had sex with this woman? Like, she's just trying to show us a good time because this is really important to me. And so she does get defensive at first, but eventually she does calm down. And then it's also during the scene that Sean lets her know that he is a private chef and that he has a test menu, so he wants her to test out some of the items. And so that does calm her down, and so they do have a nice little dinner. After this, we see Connie. She's laying on the couch, and then the camera pans around. We see that a fire has started in the kitchen, and the smoke eventually reaches her. So she wakes up. She's like, "Oh my God, what the hell is going on?" So she actually calls out for her son. She goes into the room and she says, "Where's your sister?" And then next thing you know, she falls to the ground and she starts crawling towards the door. And to be honest, I wasn't really sure if she would be able to open the door, but she does eventually open the door and she is able to get out. And so once she is walking out of her apartment, we see that everybody pretty much in the complex is out there. They're looking stunned, they're looking shocked because the building is basically on fire. And she yells out, has anybody seen my kids? Has anybody seen my kids? But nobody's paying attention because, like I said, the building is pretty much on fire and everybody's like scrambling, trying to figure out what's going on and trying to get out the way. And then she calls out for her son again, but of course her son doesn't answer. And I was just like, poor Connie. Y'all know Connie is my favorite on the show, so I'm just like, this sucks. Next, we see Fatima, we see Zach. They're having a conversation. They're trying to figure out what they want to eat. Fatima doesn't know what the fuck she wants. Zach is like, look, I don't got time to be going back and forth with you about food. Just order something. I'm just going to hope for the best. And so Fatima does order some food, and she receives a notification that the food has gotten there. And so the camera actually pans outside, and we see that Leslie is actually outside. She picks up the food. She attempts to walk away, but Deja notices her, grabs her by her hair, and attempts to attack her. But you all know that Leslie, she's crazy, she's deranged, she is crafty, so she was able to get the upper hand, and she actually kicks Deja in the stomach. I was like, oh shit. And so she ends up rushing off, and as she's rushing off, a team actually comes outside. She's like, what the hell is going on? And Deja's like, almost had her, almost had her. And then Fatima's like, oh my God. She was like, where is Zach at? And she was like, we're not going to get Zach involved. She's like, no, Zach needs to be involved. And she's like, listen, Zach can't find out about this because you all know that Fatima has this thing where she feels like she's able to resolve every single issue without Zach, but we have seen that she has not been able to resolve any of the issues without Zach. And we see that, he eventually finds out because that's her whole thing. Like, I don't want him to find out, but he eventually finds out anyway, so I'm not really sure why we go through this process every single time. Fatima tells Deja that they need to work together as a team to take Leslie down. And Deja's like, wait, as a team? As partners? Together? And Fatima's like, yes, we need to work together as a team, as partners, together to get this done. And she's like, okay, well, you need to knuckle up because that bitch knows how to fight. And when I tell you that shit made me laugh for like a good 5 minutes, that was the funniest part of the entire episode. They just funny as hell. And that was the end of the episode. I do appreciate you all watching. I really do appreciate it. If you could, please like, comment, share, subscribe. That would be great. I'm going to get episode 10 up as soon as I can. You all have a great rest of your day.